and welcome. It is day 2 of Vendée Live with Dee Kafari, but it is day 17 of the Vendée Globe race, and it has been a super busy day. Joining me on the show today a little later on will be Kevin George, sail designer at North Sails UK. But first of all, we have breaking news. Today, in fact, all morning, the 24-hour distance speed record has been broken on multiple occasions. We have a new holder of the record. Sébastien Simon, on board his boat, Groupe du Briel, has been non-stop breaking the record. It is currently sat at 610.06 nautical miles. We have broken that elusive 600-mile barrier, and that is an average speed of 25.42 knots. Let's just take a look at that. It all looks a bit bouncy, but this just gives you an idea of what it's like outside. And he told us that this is just easy conditions. He's not even pushing that hard. However, it seems to be consistently every hour that he has been upping his speed and just getting that little bit further. In fact, the crude record for the 24 hours stands at 648 miles. So it's actually not that far away. For these sailors, it's super impressive, and the conditions are set to stay like this until tomorrow morning. So there's every chance that this record will be old hat by the time I speak to you tomorrow. So 610 miles is super impressive. But in other news around the fleet, we've had a number of sail repairs, which is quite fitting given my guest today. Justine Metro spent over 24 hours fixing her J0, and sadly today it is no longer there. It decided it didn't want to join her for the rest of the race, so she's now compromised with her sail wardrobe without her J0. We have had sail repair by Tanguy Le Turquoise. We've had hydro generator being repaired by Seb Marsset. We've had pumps being repaired by Alan Rora, and some splicing being done by Denny van Weinberg. It doesn't matter where you are, what the conditions are like, that maintenance goes on non-stop when you're going around the world. But we did have cause for celebration today. Jackie, our Chinese entry on Sing Chain, crossed the equator for the 7th time.
这个历史性的时刻，耶，开心！这是我第7次跨越赤道了，我要分享给大家。我们岸队给我准备了一瓶小香槟，因为跨越赤道，通常对于水手来讲都非常具有纪念的意义。在历史传统上，只有跨越过赤道的人，才能从软蛋变成硬汉，然后只有跨越赤道的水手，才能够在自己的身上纹海龟，来显示自己的航行履历。 然后只有跨越过2次赤道的人，才能在2个耳朵上同时戴耳钉。赤道上，终年白天和黑夜的时间都是均等的，都是差不多晚上和白天都是12个小时左右。所以今天我要庆祝我的第7次跨越赤道的仪式。哇吼！
Well, I'd love to say that my Chinese is good enough to tell you what he said. I was planning on the subtitles on that, but he was saying that it's his 7th time, it's a major milestone, and when you cross the equator, you're allowed to get a tattoo of a turtle for the first time. The second time means you can get your ears pierced, but he didn't tell us what it means you can do when you cross it for your 7th time. But he joins the fleet in the Southern Ocean, in the Southern Hemisphere rather, and we have one more sailor still to cross the equator, and Jabi, our Hungarian sailor, is battling the doldrums as we speak. So hopefully he won't be too far away. Now, today we're hoping to link live with Oliver Heer, but just while we're waiting to connect with him, just looking at you, Kevin, how have you been following the race? It's been a little bit addictive, even just these first 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, super addictive. I guess now that I got a bit of skin in the game, having designed Pip sails, I'm following her closely. But obviously, it's an enthralling watch, following the whole fleet.
So your relationship with Pip, it's built over time. How important is that relationship between a sail designer and the sailor that's going to be using their equipment? The sails are fundamentally the engines for these boats, and they've got to withstand quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think the relationship is super important. I guess Pip came into my sort of periphery during the last race with how hard she pushed the old Super BU and I guess how just how competitive she was, especially in the south. So it was through some mutual friends of ours that Pip was doing round Britain and Ireland with back in 2018. They gave me her contact details, and following the last Vendée, I sort of reached out and congratulated her on her performance, and suggested that if and when she got an upgrade to her boat, and if it came with North Sails, then I'd be happy to help her where I could, and that sort of came to fruition when she picked up what was originally Banque Populaire back in 2016, and then raced as Bura Valley in the last race with Louis Burton. And so we sort of started the relationship with an evaluation of those sails. And that's kind of, I guess, where the strength of the company comes into its own, because I was able to contact our colleagues over in Van, and they were able to supply me with the background in terms of the models and the molds that were used for those sails, which gave me a good basis to supply new sails to the boat at the start of the 22 season, with a view of, with the qualification miles required for this Vendée, there's a lot of miles to cover, and you've got to make sure. I think it's super important for those guys. They have to qualify, so they have to finish those races, and so the sails, they have to go the distance and give the opportunity to develop the boat.
Well, you're right there with that pressure to qualify, and somebody that had that pressure to qualify is Oliver Heer, and we've got him live on Tut Good. Is all good on Tut Good, Ollie?
Yes, Dee. Everything is going very well. Beautiful sailing out here.
So what are the conditions like? Tell us. We're jealous of the sunshine, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I might just quickly show you guys outside. It's really nice. At the moment, we've got about 12 knots of wind, kind of like, close reaching 75 degrees. Quite stable. I'm somewhere just in between the crossover between my J1 and J2, meaning I do quite often, I change between my head sails. And then the forecast for next 24 hours is the breeze aft, the wind angle opens up. We might see about 17, 18 knots at night. So yeah, I shouldn't complain. Life is good.
It sounds wonderful. And if you could send some of that sunshine back to us, that would be fantastic. What's on your jobs list? Because I'm guessing you're doing this Southern Atlantic, knowing that the Southern Ocean beckons. Are you doing anything in preparation, or have you just got the ever-going jobs list on the go?
To be fair, Dee, I'm actually quite fortunate. I had earlier on in the race some problems with one of my autopilots, which we managed to fix. My clutch, the power supply stopped working, so I had to do some rewiring. But at the moment, the job list is almost inexistent, very small jobs. But you're right, I am preparing the boat for more wind, meaning I start thinking about moving all the sails and the stack to the back of the boat, these kind of things. But so far, I'm actually trying to catch up on some sleep and just enjoy the sailing out here.
Oh my God, that's such good news. I really hope that next time we talk, you still have a zero jobs list, because you're making a lot of skippers very jealous right now. But your anticipation into the Southern Ocean, is it nervous excitement, or is it apprehension, or a little bit of everything? Because this is your first solo trip in the Southern Ocean, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's a bit of everything. If I wasn't nervous, then I think something would be wrong with me. But to be fair, I'm still in very good shape. The boat is in good shape. We played it very conservatively the last 2 weeks, just to be in good shape where we are now. Yeah, we're ready for the Southern Ocean. Here we go.
Well, it's a good place to be, and it's testament to your team and yourself for doing a good job in the preparation and having no big issues. where you are on the tracker, it looks like you're pretty close and in a bit of a battle with Fabrice Amadeo. Have you got any of the boats on AIS, or have you know, who's your eye on? Who's your main competition at the moment?
To be fair, I try to sail my own race, not get kind of influenced too much by the boats around me. I mean, I did a bit of a stupid navigational mistake 10 days ago, which cost me about 70, 80 miles. And I've been trying to kind of catch up with the fleet ever since. And I managed to do that. I think I was just a couple of miles ahead of Fabrice. And now there are two more boats. Manu Couset and Antoine Korenic a couple of miles ahead. I really try to position myself a little bit to the east of them. I think that's smart, looking at the forecast for the next couple of days. But really, I just try to sail my own race and look after the boat, look after myself. There's still, I don't know, another 20,000 miles to go.
Well, you're right there, and you're playing a great game. Keeping it consistent is the key, and the fact you've got to stay to the end of the race. So keep doing the good work, keep battling on, and I'm sure we're going to be speaking to you soon when you get to enjoy that Southern Ocean for the first time. Sail safe and sail fast, Ollie.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Oh, so good to hear from Ollie there. And he was just saying then, Kevin, that he's halfway between his J1 and J2. He's right on a crossover, which is a difficult place to be for a lot of sailors, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not sure what pilot system Ollie's using, but the more modern pilots you can kind of set up to an apparent wind angle that suits that particular sail set, and then I guess it's just a case of if the true wind speed is also fluctuating, as to when you've got to make those changes.
So with the IMOCAs, how many sails can they have, and what's the rule? How many sails can they carry, and what are they? I've got some pictures here to help illustrate what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, so the rule is 8 sails. You are, well, I guess the first two straight off the bat, which we're looking at here, super important. Storm jib. I don't think too many of the skippers will be wanting to see that, but it's a mandatory, part of the rule. Mainsail, which is 3 reefs, which you can kind of see, which is illustrated along, the reduction in sail area on the right-hand side with the storm jib. All of those reefs are one design, so the lock locations within the mast itself are all fixed position. And then the boom is the boom is open, as it were, so you can source that from anywhere at this time, I think. And I'm not sure, but it might be coming one design in the near future.
And just a question on the head of the main, has that been reduced now these boats are going faster, or is that, because I remember in my 2008, many moons ago now, it was a really big head of a main, but I feel they're getting smaller as the boats are accelerating. Is that right?
That's a general trend, yes. You kind of have this, what would traditionally be described as an odd leech fan, so the leech profile of the sail, and that's come about through the progression of the foils. So the head width has kind of been reduced. I think the Banque Populaire mainsail from 2016 was 2.55 meters wide, and I think we're down at 1.85 now, and that's with a kind of a push to sail with full mainsail for longer, because it's basically it's less drag than if you are reefed and then with the mast section sitting above the head of the mainsail.
Well, I'm sure that we've got Sebastian Simon on a full main for sure, sending it. So looking down the rest of the sail wardrobe, what have we got?
J3, which is on a removable stay, and that sail doubles up. It's not only your upwind heavy air sail, but it's predominantly used, hopefully for these guys, as a downwind, as a staysail. And you'll either use that double-headed with either J0, which we'll see in a minute, and sometimes with a J2 on, but so it's kind of not quite a big enough gap between the J2 and the J3 to be super effective.
Yeah, you need that separation, don't you, to allow that slot to open and the breeze to come through.
Correct. Yeah. And then, sorry, just go back one D, because we skipped over the J2. So that again is your sort of workhorse sail, which traditionally, and I'm not sure whether you would have had it at the time, but there are boats in the past when the sail allocation was a little bit bigger, they would quite often have two J2s on board the boat, so that you would have a fresh sail to come back up through the Atlantic with. That's that's gone nowadays.
I remember that conversation. I think my edition, we had 10 sails on board, so the reduction in sails means that the decision making needs to be a lot clearer.
Yeah, I think everything that we've seen so far, and I think including these two, the Fro and the J0 are kind of no-brainers, and then the sort of the question marks come a little bit later on as to whether you're using a soft or a hard luff sail here. So again, with the advent of the foilers, the masthead 0 on the left, which is a hard luff furling sail. Most, I think pretty much all of the boats that we've supplied with the Moser are 3DI construction. And then there is a tactical choice to be made as to whether you use the masthead 0 or you have a soft sail, which is the traditional A2, which is handled with again like a traditional snuffer rather than being furled up.
Yeah, loose luff sails are always a bit nervous for a sailor because it feels like there's an awful lot of cloth to go everywhere. And we've got a little video here of Tanguy Le Turquoise having a little bit of an issue with his sails, and he had to do his own sail repair. And actually on a boat, because you don't have the stability of a sail loft, it's all about the preparation. So he spends a long time getting the preparation ready, and then he actually fixes just the damage is just where the lower decals are, and he actually fixes it while it's flying and while it's in place, which is pretty impressive. Takes a lot of work, but it does mean that he's good to carry on, and he had good conditions to do it in. The guys at the front of the fleet won't be doing their sail repairs. And knowing how to repair sails is just as important, isn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, for sure. I think these guys, I mean, now that I've spent a bit of time with Pip, I think it's super impressive, how wide their skill set has to be. And then having the ability to fix sails is one thing, but all of the systems, the generators, the hydro, there's just so many things that they have to be on top of. But the sail repair, or the sail repairing as it were, is super hard to do on board. It kind of looked like Tanguy had a good option there, just to, rather than try and drop the sail, unfurl it, lay it out, try and get it out on deck, actually take the repair to the sail rather than the sail to the repair, as it were.
I really want to thank you for your time today, Kevin. It's been really insightful to understand the IMOCA sail wardrobe a little bit better. Thank you for your time today, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from you later on in the race as it progresses. Now, this morning I spoke to Seb Marsset on board Foussier to find out how he was feeling, how he's getting on, and just checking how life was.
Everything is great. Apart, I would love to go quicker. but that's how it is. So no, everything is great. Body's in good shape. Skipper is in good shape, I think. And no, everything going well. Just missing 1.5 knots of boat speed compared to the quickest leaderboard boats.
Yeah, I can see that on the tracker, but it's given you time to do repairs.
No, well, hydro generators are fine. Actually, it's like I took plenty of little fins because every transat I've done, I broke a couple of them. So it's just I knew I had to do it. So no, everything is fine.
Does it feel strange to be on your own heading into the Southern Ocean?
It feels different for sure. It feels really different. I haven't broken my own record of being alone the longest I've spent with myself was during the mini transat in 2007, was 21 days. So I'm still in the knowing area. I'm curious to see how it's going to be after, but already I can feel that, you know, when you go sailing, when you go for a long period at sea, you leave the shore and you're still in touch. You're still in touch with the media, with your family, and once the time gets longer, you're less and less. It's not that you don't care, but you're more and more in your own world. And I feel like it's starting a bit to be like this.
Well, you're definitely in your happy place, but be rest assured we are with you all the way, supporting you and following you. And just looking ahead, you're in a really competitive group. Can you see the competition, and who are you chasing down?
Yeah, I can see the competition for sure. I mean, I'm tracking the whole group. I wish I could be with them right now, but as I said to Perrin, my goal is to keep the gap as short as possible with the front group, which is led today by Jean or Louis. I'm not sure. It's a really big focus on every scale, every ranking. How fast I've been, how fast I've been the other, what's their course, what's my course. And 2 times a day doing the routing, the long-term routing for Bonne Espérance, the short-term routing for the point where we're going to start heading into the northwesterly breeze. So yeah, it's a lot of job actually, but I like it.
And he does like it, and he's enjoying these lighter conditions up here with the Daggerboard fleet. But at the front of the fleet, you can see it's this low pressure that they're riding that's producing Sébastien Simon's record-breaking performance that he's been doing all morning. And they're just staying at the front. He's gone up into second place. I'm sure Charlie Dallin is looking over his shoulder. Now, if we move forwards to Friday weather, we can see that the routing for Charlie Dallin keeps him riding, and they fall off the depression, and he keeps riding, and he'll be approaching the Cape of Good Hope, hoping to break that record of Alex Thompson from 2016. If we come forwards, we can see that there's boats just falling off the back. So this is Isabel Josh. Just have us take a different route. They have to fall off the back of the low, pick up the next system, and come riding down. And then if we go forwards a little bit further, we can see the change of route. As this high pressure establishes itself for the rest of the fleet, the Daggerboard fleet, they take a more southerly route round the outside, more traditional that we've seen in the past. And then we see them, as they come into the Indian Ocean, start to play in the ice gate area. But let's see what Paul Mayat says about what this weather is doing to him.
The guy in front gonna stay with the low pressure more hours and more days than me, so it means that they're gonna take a good advantage, and the same behind me. I will take probably many miles to Sam Davis and Boris Herman and all the fleet just behind me. So I hope that the guy in front will not be too far away.
So not far away, but we're looking at these front 6 boats all within 100 miles. And when they're doing 600 miles days, that is nothing. Sam Goodchild's hanging in there in that top 10 in 7th position, just slightly falling off the pace as he's in the more turbulent conditions behind that weather system. Looking through, we've got Sam Davis and Boris Herman, Justine Metro, who's been battling some sail issues, and Pip Hare, all in the block, in that peloton behind those front runners on the foiling boats. And then as we come back to more of our Daggerboard fleet, Isabel Josh leads the way. We've got Alan Rohr in there, but we've got Conrad chasing, Giancarlo Pedotti, and then Koji and Ollie Heer and Denny van Weinberg. Jackie now in the Southern Hemisphere, and I'm sure soon New Europe with Zabi on board will battle the doldrums and win through. But with it being so close in different packs, Boris Herman had a comment about that.
It's nice to have the company of the girls, Clarisse and Justine. I just heard them on VHF chatting, and we are writing a bit as well. I see at least Clarisse on AIS. and it gives me the feeling of being in the middle of a match and not all alone on an ocean, and it makes the race less virtual. So I still don't see them, it's just a transponder mark on the computer. But nevertheless, it's a great thing to have people close around.
Well, Boris there, enjoying the company and not feeling so remote, knowing that he's in a race, because sometimes it's hard to manage that when all you see is water all around you. So having that communication on the VHF, the AIS pinging, reminds him that he's in a race and he's under some pressure, although he did look super relaxed. I want to thank all my guests. I want to thank Ollie Heer for joining us today, Kevin George for giving us that understanding of what the IMOCA sail wardrobe actually looks like. And tomorrow we are going to be joined by Francesca Klapcic, Italian-US sailor. That resume covers a huge span to the point where the only event left is the Vendée Globe. So it will come as no surprise to hear that in 2028 she has every ambition of being on the start line. So she'll be joining us to follow the race so far, get her thoughts. So see me 1:30 UTC, 14:30 French time for Vendée Live tomorrow. Thank you.